Hey Leute, welcome to PartiuCast. I am Matheus.
And I'm Jessica.
And tomorrow. And today we're going to talk a little bit about tips and tricks on how to learn German with our really cool and special guest today, Alex from the German course Wipdaf. First of all, Alex, you can introduce yourself and maybe introduce Wipdaf and talk a little bit about what Wipdaf is.
Sure, of course. It's my pleasure. I'm very glad to be here. My name is Alex Rüther, and I'm a language teacher at a private language school and also the university in Germany, Münster, here. And I'm teaching since 2015. I'm German as a foreign language. So I'm a language teacher, full language teacher. And I'm 31 years old. I studied German, and this is what everyone in our language school did. Yeah, so everyone at Wipdaf, this is the name of my school I'm working for, is like a qualified language teacher. Yeah, and this makes my work very fun. I really like this job.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here, by the way. Also, especially, I think for us to know a little bit more about how to learn German, and for the people who are here watching us, I think this is very important to maybe have some consistent and some, I don't know, precise information about how they can start maybe learning German also in Brazil or somewhere else where they are at home. So this is really important, and thank you very much for being here and helping us with that. So I think maybe the first question could be, what is exactly Wipdaf? And yeah, I mean, we know it's a German course, but can you maybe give us a little bit more insight about Wipdaf?
Yeah, so Wipdaf is not especially a company. Yeah, it's more like a club. So in Germany, the club system is a little different from other countries, but it's something like a private school, which is a result from the workers from university. Yeah, so the idea was to teach people with the teachers from university that are not like students at the university. Yeah, so and this was the main idea, because in Münster and I think almost every other city in Germany, it's the case that you only can participate in German classes if you are like a student in the university. And some of our workers or former workers didn't like this idea, because they thought, okay, we want to also provide classes to other people that living in Germany and want to have classes. And so our school was founded with the mindset and the workers from university. Yeah, and it's more or less the same like university class, but not at university. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have our own rooms, which are not very far away from university, because in Münster everything is kind of close together. Yeah. And we're getting bigger and bigger these days. And a lot of us are also working at university, like I do. Yeah, at different. So in Münster, we have 2 universities, and all of us work at both or some of them.
So basically, all the teachers, all the German teachers that are also teaching at Wipdaf are also teaching at like German at the university.
Or they did before. Yeah, so some of our teachers, they're just focusing on Wipdaf now, and other ones also still work at the university. But this is always depending from the schedule, right? So the classes are very different from time to time and from day to day. Yeah, so student life is not like a 9 to 5 job. Yeah, so we have adjust our like family lives and other jobs to the schedule. So sometimes some of us are working at university and Wipdaf, or only at Wipdaf. It's depending.
Okay, that's really interesting. And how did it come for you personally to start working at Wipdaf as well?
For me, so I think it's so long story short, I started teaching German as a student at the German university, and I studied German language. Yeah, and I started teaching foreign language at 2015 when a lot of people from Syria came to Germany. And
Okay.
in this year, everyone who could teach a little bit German did this. And then it was for me like the perfect job. I really enjoyed it. And I started working at a different language school. But after I finished my studies, I I was looking for another job. Yeah. And then I found Wipdaf and I really liked their concept. And yeah, this is why I'm there, I think, since 3 or 4 years now. Mhm.
Okay. That's really cool. I think it's, as you said, the concept of like really bringing German outside of university without being a private school. It's something that makes more people being able to actually learn German. Because nowadays, I think a lot of people from other countries coming here sometimes with just the increasement of all prices and everything. That's just a really important idea, and something that should be for sure like just shared more, and more people should know more about it for sure. And I think we also, Mateus, you also did this
Yeah,
course when you came first time to Germany, right?
exactly. That's what I wanted to say before, because I personally did that. I started learning German at Volkshochschule, and then after the A1, yeah, I think I did the A1 in Volkshochschule, and then I changed to Wipdaf, and I saw like a really huge difference. And I really, really like the concept of Wipdaf, and also like if you see like the quality of the classes and also the prices is really, really good. So you can pay like a fair price, and you have a really, really good quality classes, and it helped me so much for my exams. So that's why I'm also like telling about Wipdaf, because I really like the classes there and the concept and the teachers. And what I thought it was crazy, not just in Wipdaf, but like in learning German in Germany, is that even though you're starting like from the beginning on A1 and you don't know nothing about German, the classes are in German. And I, from the beginning on, I was just like, how the teacher can teach in German for people that can't speak German.
Yes. So this is something I think is very, very kind. This very nice words, Mateus. Yeah, but even I don't want to make this like full commercial
No.
show. Yeah, but I could tell you that I think if you have a language class, doesn't matter if it's German or English or whatever. If this class is not in the target language from the beginning, it's like scam. Yeah. Because this is like the #1 rule in language learning, that you have to train the people in the target language. Yeah. So this is the normal thing, right? So usually this is the most important thing in language learning, that you are teaching grammar and explaining other vocabulary in the target language. Yeah. And I think what you mentioned, this talking about fair price. Yeah. So I think compared to other language schools, we're not cheaper or something. But if you look for a language course, and it doesn't matter where, if you do it in Münster, where we live, or in Berlin, or in London for English class, doesn't matter. You cannot compare the prices from the schools if you're not checked who is teaching there. Yeah. So because we have schools in Münster and in also different German cities where just random people are teaching German. Yeah. So like students or people who came from other businesses. Yeah. And then you have the case that they're trying really hard. Yeah. But then they are speaking English because they don't know how to explain it otherwise and stuff like this. And this is something you really should focus on, and even if you're not coming to Münster. Yeah. So I would like to have you here. Yeah. It's kind of cool here, but it don't have to be. No matter where you check, yeah, focus on who is teaching. And you can ask this in an email. And if they won't reply and explain you what the teachers are usually doing or where they came from, it's strange, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it's also like I really understand this point, but also looking for our perspective, like outside Germany. Like I think in Germany, you know how it works. And for example, in Brazil, like where I grew up, and most of my friends, let's say, also I think Mateus, our language teachers in school, they usually like always, even like if it's an English course or a Spanish course, they usually tend to always start speaking Portuguese, and then sometimes with the level when it's getting higher, they start going more to English or to another the language that they're teaching. So I think maybe I don't know if this is like a cultural thing or it's basically because maybe you have like bigger classes and then you cannot focus that much just speaking in this language because no like the I don't know, maybe the class wouldn't understand. I don't know. But I think it's for sure like it was way better to start. Like in the beginning, it was a shock for me because I really never had a course that started from the way beginning in this another language. But actually, with the time, it was really good because you somehow you understand. Somehow the teacher makes it understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to blame your teachers from Brazil at all. Yeah, this is what I mean. We also have some in my school days experience. I had also some English teachers who didn't taught in English. Yeah, so this is common. Yeah, but so the modern standard is like in every language that you teach in the target language. Yeah, and as you said, the effect of learning is much better. Yeah, because you are learning new words and new structures during learning something else. Makes a sense there. So everything, also how you pronounce words and stuff like this, everything is learned simultaneously. And yeah, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And which a lot of people, a lot of our followers ask us about like which level we can already kind of start talking or communicating in German. Like, can you kind of explain like, okay, in A1, what can you do with the language? What is your like skills in A1 and then A2? So we can like in which level you can already communicate and have an okay conversation in German.
So yeah, I think you can communicate immediately. Yeah. So I think usually every time you left our classes, you learn something new to communicate, which I think is very important to keep the students motivated. Yeah, that they feel like, okay, now I can do something new after this lesson. And I think even after the first lesson, you are able to introduce yourself. Yeah. So our teaching days are 4 hours, like 3 time hours, but 4 teaching hours. Yeah. So 3 real hours. And after this, you can introduce yourself after the first lesson. Yeah. And yeah, so A2, B1, this is kind of depending what you're aiming for. Yeah. So usually at B1, you are able to communicate very freely. But there are also a lot of students at A2 which are better in speaking than in writing. Yeah. So what you have to remember is that speaking, writing, listening are completely different kind of skills. Yeah, I got so many students who can very well listening, write very well, but barely speak any complete good sentences. Yeah, and this is something that I'm focusing on. Yeah, speaking more than writing, for example. Yeah, but it is also it depends from what you're targeting. Yeah. So if you want just to survive in a like host family or something, A2 is enough. Yeah. But if you want to work like if you want to work, yeah, for example, you need B1. And if you want to study, you need C1. This is what we say. Yeah. But I wouldn't worry too much about like, can I do it or not? So usually the students are learning. Yeah. So it happens very, very rarely that we just have people who attend the classes and not learning German, even if they don't make their homework. Yeah. So if you do a German class at our school, yeah, you come 5 days a week for 4 hours, and every day you learn to speak new sentences. Yeah, and we will talk later, I think, about learning tips to learn German. Yeah, and then I can talk about this more. Yeah, but I think don't worry about failing or something. Yeah, this is not what it's about.
Yeah, I think there is a common fear, I guess, from lots of students that are starting with German or any other language. It's to talk and make mistakes while they are talking. And I think this was also like a common thing for me. But I guess with the time, I think we're just gonna learn better and improve if you are talking, actually, if you're making those mistakes, right? I don't know if there is another better way to really learn and put in practice the things that you are now doing in class and everything, because it's really, I think everyone does mistakes, and usually people used to understand someone when they are trying to learn a new language, I think.
Yeah. And
totally.
this is something which I would also remind all of you. In the internet, there are a lot of memes how difficult German is. Yeah. So like like declination and articles and stuff like this, or it is difficult. Yeah. But I think language learning is about communication. Yeah. And you can perfectly communicate without making everything perfect. Yeah. And German expect you to make no mistakes. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of just speaking, just try to communicate, try that people can understand you. My English is also not perfect, yeah, but I'm just talking as much as I want and whatever I want to say. Yeah. So I think this is the most important part. Yeah. It's about communicate with people who you couldn't communicate with before. Yeah. And this is, I think, the big present you receive if you learn a new language, and nobody really cares about these details. Yeah. So we talk about this in class, of course. Yeah. And it's stressful sometimes. Yeah. But you are learning so much useful stuff too. Yeah. That you don't have to worry about this too much.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then if you are in a German class, in a German course, you're there to learn and to make mistakes. So if you do the mistakes, you're not learning, no? But I kind of regret a bit in the beginning when I was learning German, because I was so afraid of talking, because I'm always like this. If I'm not 100% sure of what I'm saying with the language and not 100% like comfort with the language, I can talk. So I just, even though I know what to say, I know the sentence, I know what to say, I just keep in my mind like, no, I'm not going to talk. And knows about it now, because I'm learning French now, but I don't want to talk because I'm not sure of the language. But I know that it's important, because just talking, you're going to learn. But talking like about other languages and learning German, do you think learning, like knowing other language, for example, English, makes easier to understand the process of learning German as well, or other languages too?
Yeah, definitely. So even I think knowing Portuguese makes it easier to learn German. Yeah, because so a lot of words in German language are from Latin too. Yeah. And this is very useful if you learn German. Yeah. And English, of course, too. Yeah. So this is very, very useful. It makes it much easier. Yeah. Grammar is similar to English if you compare it to like other languages from Asia, for example. Yeah, we have very similar grammar, and a lot of vocabulary is similar. And,
yeah, that's true. There are some, I think, words, like a lot of words that are the same, basically. And also that you can like relate from Portuguese. That I cannot come with one now, but there are a lot that are really similar ones.
Preference? I don't know.
Yeah, preference. Yeah, it's like preferencia in Portuguese, so it's basically the same. Like it's very easy for you to relate afterwards. Yeah.
It's really cool for us that we speak Portuguese, or people that also speak Spanish, because like those words that comes from Latin in German looks kind of fancy, but for us it's really easy, because like it's kind of for us in Portuguese and Spanish. So every time that I don't know how or what to say in German, I try to put like the Portuguese word in the
Yeah, pronounce it German, it sounds intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's great.
intelligent. It's also like intelligente. So it's very similar. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
like me.
Yeah. But there are like, I don't know, in your classes, for example, are there some specific things in German that are very difficult for the people who are learning German, like in A1? For example, for me, the most difficult part was and still is the articles. So, like, how to differentiate and how to know which article goes to which vocabule. So, I still think it's something that me with C1 has this problem, and I don't
Yeah.
really know how to solve it.
So I think this is what the kind of meme I talked about. Yeah, that his articles are so difficult with all these cases and stuff. Yeah, and you should learn it from the beginning. Yeah, because to learn it afterwards is very tough. Yeah, to relearn every word is tough. But I think so. A lot of people are living here for a long time and came from other countries make mistakes with articles. Yeah, it's because this is also so unfair to how you learn them, how you should learn them. But I think much more important, for example, is the verb position, for example. Yeah, so to know in which sentence where you have to put the verb, because if you do this wrong, the sentence sounds very wrong. Yeah, so and very strange. And this is, I think, for example, more important like Adjektivdeklination or article.
Yeah.
But you can learn this very quick, I think. Yeah, of course you have to train it, but the rules are not unfair. I think similar to English.
Yeah, like the articles for me was one of the most difficult things to learn in the beginning and even now, because I think when I was learning German, I thought that the articles weren't that important as they are like indeed, no? So I was focusing more on the grammatic, the other part of the grammatic, like how to put the verb, how should I supposed to conjugate the verb, and then the articles were just like there. But now I regret it so much because I still have a lot of problems with that. And many times, like when I'm writing an email, an important email, or I'm talking to some, I think talking is kind of easier because you can kind of say like really fast and people don't understand. But like when I'm writing, and especially really important emails, I'm always trying to like Googling to see like which is the article to make the sentence. So this is something that still now, like after 4 years and a half learning German, like in Germany, I still have difficult, like it's kind of hard. So from the beginning on, I think is like learning articles is really important.
Yeah, it is very important. Yeah, but what I mean is if you fail it from time to time, it's not a big problem. Yeah, so this is what I say. But you are right. Yeah, we have to learn it from the beginning and focusing on it. But there are also more important things. Vocabulary, for example.
Yeah. Do you have like maybe some tips for learning like those things in the beginning, like articles or even vocabularies?
Yeah, so what I think is if you study German, you should focus more of learning full phrases. Yeah, so something people don't really care too much about. So of course you have to learn grammar and you have to repeat grammar in class and you have to check it in a grammar book, for example. Yeah, the rules and stuff. But I think you cannot underestimate how important it is to learn vocabulary in German, because German is one of the languages with the most words. Yeah. The good thing in learning German is you would probably learn one of the language where you can talk most precisely what you mean. Yeah. And this is why you should focus on learning vocabulary. Yeah. This is so for everyone, this is the biggest problem in the end. So like in B2 or C1 level, learning vocabulary with synonyms, for example, also, yeah, this is like very special. I think you can understand what I mean. Yeah, talking about this. Yeah, and I would recommend always from the beginning from German, if you learn a new word, yeah, write it down with all the things which belongs to it. For example, if you learn a noun, learn the article and the plural form, write it down and write it in your language. And then you write a sentence where it's used. And it would be great if it's a like common sentence. It's used very, very often, which you can immediately learn and use in everyday life. Yeah. And then this is how you practice in speaking, grammar, and a new word. Yeah. So, and even more difficult, for example, is it with verbs. Yeah. Verbs have like fixed prepositions. This is what they have in English too. Yeah. And they have like fixed casus like accusative and dative. And sometimes they're like reflexive with sich. And this is all the information you should write down in your list. Yeah. For example, sich konzentrieren auf plus accusative. Yeah, this is how you should write it down. Then in your language. And then you can write a sentence like, ich konzentriere mich auf meine Hausaufgaben. Yeah? And this is like, you can do this like a list and repeat with this list, practicing vocabulary with this list and learn the sentence. And this is what I recommend. Yeah. And this is what makes you start speaking faster, because you already know some fixed sentence. If the situation pops up where you can use it, you are sounding perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do this like every day, 5 or 10 words like this, yeah, you can calculate how much words this is in a month. Yeah.
When I was learning, also I had a notebook, a small notebook, and all the words that I was learning, I was like writing down, not with phrases or nothing like this. I was just writing the words, because I also didn't have like tips how to learn German. But I just wrote like the word in German and then the word in Portuguese, and it helped me a lot. But I've heard like from some people, this is also a question that I want to ask, because I heard from a lot of people that learning a language and also like translating to your mother language, it's not that good. So I don't know why. What is like your vision about it? Is it good also to do those translations from the language that you're learning for your mother language, or better just focus on the language that you're learning?
So in the beginning, I think it's not possible to ignore your mother language, because you cannot learn words if you don't translate to another language. Yeah. Sometimes I recommend students who can speak very well English, but their mother language is like very far away from German, to compare it to English. Yeah. So for example, students from Asia who are speaking very well English, and they always make notes in their language, which is like very different. Sometimes it makes more sense to like set up your mind to compare it to English. Yeah. Because this is sometimes easier. But yeah, you are right. I think in the higher levels from German learning, you have no choice than for staying even in your mind in this language, because a lot of words you just cannot translate. Yeah. And then you have to do it like this.
Yeah. That's the good thing about German, because there's a lot of specific words for the specific thing that you are doing. That in Portuguese, that we have like a lot of words that is not describing exactly what we want to describe. So we need to use like a big sentence to try to describe the situation or the what we wanted to say. And in German, you say like this, and it's 100% this. And you said also before that German we have like a lot of vocabulary. Yeah, that's true. But one thing that I really liked in German that helped me a lot is like that in German you put like a lot of words together to make a new word. So for example, that I don't know, that in the beginning can be like kind of, whoa, what is that? But it kind of helps. So for example, I don't know, Schreibtisch. Like you kind of put like Schreiben and Tisch together and you make a new word. So you can kind of, when you read, even though you don't know what the word means, you can relate with other stuff that you already know. So kind of is helpful sometimes, I think.
Yeah, it's helpful, and it's also totally normal to invent new words on your own. Yeah, this is something a lot of people also underestimates, and some students are a little bit afraid of doing this sometimes. Yeah, so if you put coffee and tisch, like coffee and table together to make kaffee tisch, I'm not sure, maybe there is this word, but I don't know. I just made it up, and everyone knows that it's probably the table where you just drink coffee. Yeah,
Mhm.
the break, and this is working very, very nice. Yeah, and which is completely normally I think it's legit. I think to do it like this. Yeah.
There was even when I was starting to learn German, like I didn't know much about it. The first video that I saw, that maybe some people also know it, it's like this Baba Ba Baba something. Like it's basically a 2 minutes video explaining how many words can you put together that even have like a near sound and can be confusing. But it's basically just to explain how far you can go, I guess, and how can
Yeah.
you create, I don't know, but it's like it's kind of funny.
I know, and I heard this very often. Yeah, it's also like a running gag in class because everyone knows this. Yeah, but to be fair, in English, yeah, if you sometimes write terms not together, you have two words for things. Yeah, and in German you always write things in one word. Yeah, this is very straightforward. You can write words together. There's no maybe it's together or maybe it's two words. Yeah, and this is like very straightforward. Yeah. I just want to come back to the thing Matthäus talked about this. We have so many words and it's so precisely. Yeah, I want to make an example, yeah, because maybe some people don't understand what we mean. Yeah. So for example, the English word put, yeah, to put something, yeah, to lay it down, whatever, yeah, just need to put. In German, we have different verbs regarding the result of how you put it somewhere. Yeah, so there's stellen, legen, stecken, and so on. Yeah, and the difference is just the result of how it's put it somewhere. Yeah, if it's standing or lying somewhere. So this is special verbs for put, depending on the result, how it's finished. Yeah, and this is like, I think, a good example how German language distinguishes from English. Yeah, because we've just more words, and but they are not hard to learn at all, I think. Yeah, I think it's fun to do it like this, and some students think it's very rewarding to make a sentence that is very, very precisely in perfect German.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think it's really nice. Just basically how you can put like create a better structure, and then if you can like make it precise and with new words that you are learning, it's something that is really rewarding, especially in German. I think until today, when I learn like new words, I'm also like, okay, now I'm gonna use this in some moment, and it's just like it's really satisfying. That's true.
Yeah, and it's like I can see that so much also with my friends, like my Brazilian friends, like our Brazilian friends here in German. I can speak in Germany. I can speak German. Even though we are speaking in Portuguese, we are communicating in Portuguese. Sometimes we use German words because it's way easier to explain what we want to. So, like sometimes when I'm having a conversation with my Brazilian friends that can't speak German, I just don't know how to explain because I don't have a specific word for that. So I need to be like, it's something like this, like that, and makes a new, whole new, I don't know, sentence just to explain something. So like for us Brazilians here that can speak German, it's way easier the communication. We just get the German word, directly into the point.
Yeah. So is there like also, because something that we hear a lot about people that come from another countries to Germany is that like in general Germans are very direct, and I think this has something to do with the language. So do you, because like you can be specific, so you can be direct on what you're doing. So I think it's also something like cultural, but maybe something from the language. And do you also actually feel it, like maybe when we're speaking another language, or I don't know.
Very interesting idea. I like this. Are we more direct because our language is so specific. When I was a student at university, there was one professor who had the theory that we have different personalities in different languages we are speaking.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, have you
I
heard
also
this?
can relate it.
Yeah. And I don't totally agree with it, but I think that each language has their own character built in. Yeah. And it's always depending where you speak and to which kind of Germans you speak to. Yeah. So from my experience at the university, where I also always meet very young people from different countries, I think these people are very, very similar. Doesn't matter where they came from. Yeah. They you can talk to them in all the same way. They are so similar, with similar interests, and mindset is similar. It's always the same, what they like, what they don't like. Yeah. So I think people are very similar, I think, in my experience. And it's not like that Germans are always like this direct and grumpy if they are younger. Yeah. I think this phenomena, I think you cannot say this in general. Yeah. But like older people, professional people at business, at job, yeah, they are like very correct, yeah. So they are sticking to the rules. So if there's a rule, they're just following it. I think, this is what typically German, yeah. So there's also this thing everyone is talking about and making fun of it, but which is true, that if it's night and it's dark and nobody's there and the traffic light is turning red and you are walking and you're stopping and standing there. Yeah, just because it's the rule. And this is something I also do. Yeah. And I think this describes the German character very well. Yeah. They are sticking to the rules and they don't always think about why. And sometimes this could be very annoying. Yeah. But I think in general, this is not totally a bad thing. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, but I think you have to think about it if it's because of the language. I really like this idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like from my perspective, I don't know, like it's also hard to say. To be honest, like it's a very general and also maybe stereotyped. But I feel like, for example, if I ask something to a German person, then the answer, like if it's a yes or no, it's gonna be a yes or a no. And let's say if you are asking for someone who is Brazilian, maybe they're gonna say yes, but they wanted to say no, or they're saying no, they wanted to say yes. So it's always like, yeah, you don't know exactly what the person means. And that makes it not being so direct. And I think maybe it's more because of the culture. But I also, like, I'm not sure. It's just like what we experience, for example. Like, I really feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I mean is, I think that people who are coming to Germany from Brazil should worry too much about other people in their own age, yeah, because of globalization, internet, we are like everyone is like synchronized, yeah. You know what you should do in a situation and say, and what is like weird, yeah. But I think you can say that in general, yeah, that German people are very straightforward, not caring so much about kindness, yeah. But it's not like being angry or something. Sometimes you just get a no if it means no, yeah, and then you can handle it, yeah, or not.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I also think this is something that I really like about Germany because, for example, like following rules and, I don't know, being like direct about what you mean, it's not actually negative. It's also like, I don't know, can be like very positive in if it's like a good result. I don't know, it's something that I really enjoy, how things, for example, work here. If you look to Brazil, like regarding, I don't know, corruption or how people are in their daily life, I think corruption just like reflects on how people are on their daily life. So I think like if things work here, means that people are following the rules and it's working because of this. So yeah, I don't think it's a negative thing at all. I think it's something very positive and that I would totally like to bring it to other countries and cultures to see like maybe this could be also something that works.
Yeah, but it can sound grumpy. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It can be like seem like unfriendly and grumpy. And this is sometimes hard to make new friends here because of this. Yeah, this is a big thing I hear very often. Yeah, but you're right. It also has advantages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like
Yeah.
you just need to get used to it. You just because for us it's something we are not used to have yes or no. We are used to have like maybe. So the beginning also like I share the same opinion as Jess. I think it's also good. I really like it that's direct. I think there's a lot of ways to be direct, but the general I really like because if it's a yes, I know that the Germans like really mean it, and if it's a no, I won't bring it to heart, you know, because at the beginning when the Germans were saying like no, I don't want or something, I was feeling bad. But nowadays I know that it's like a real no, and they don't wanna I don't know hurt my feelings or something. It's just they're just honest, and this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Really cool.
I
Yeah,
don't.
I think it's yeah. I just wanted to mention that because we are going to a little bit another topic, like outside of learning German. But I think this is also very important to bring because you learn German to understand the culture, I guess. So, like, I think talking about the culture, it's also something that actually get like zusammenhängt, like it's connected, you know. So, like, I think it's also like important to talk about it. Yeah.
It is important, yeah, and I think it's also important to know it, yeah. That it's just so some people think it's something is wrong with them if the people are not smiling, for example, if they're coming in or people are just like rude or not talking or grumpy, yeah. But this is kind of normal here, yeah. So if you're at a bakery or at a restaurant and the waiter is coming, it's something special if they are friendly and smiling. Yeah, this is
Oh my God, I can agree so much. I was like, I was working in a hotel in my vacations here in Germany, and like I worked there only for 2 months, and I don't know, I was always like trying to be friendly and positive with the customers and in general, like working over there. And at the end, when I finished the work, my chef, like my team leader, I don't know what to say, she was like, really, oh my God, thank you for the time that you were here. Like, you were always so friendly. And it was like, okay, I thought it was something that it has to be already. But actually, if you think like normally, it's not like, unfortunately, somehow, I don't know if it's unfortunately or not, but because sometimes it's really good to go to a place and be well, I think you do, like, well served or well, like when someone comes and you're friendly and everything, so you feel like better. And when you go to some place and buy something and someone is already being friendly, so it can give like a whole like frustration of a day, like everyone's being unfriendly and everything is going bad, so you're also gonna be unfriendly, so it goes like a non-stopping cycle.
Yes, I hope that your followers are not scared at all, you know, from the German mentality. Yeah, but I completely understand what you mean. Yeah, I heard so many stories like this. Yeah, and I always have to calm people down. Like, this is completely normal. This is my everyday life. Even if you are from Germany, the people are not nice to you and they are grumpy and they make strange comments. Yeah, and they seem annoyed. Yeah, but this is like the mentality. Yeah, but don't mean. Sometimes they're doing very good things for you, even if they don't look like this. Yeah. And there are some things in Germany which are the results from this. Yeah. So for example, you talked about corruption, for example. Yeah. As a German, it's so strange to hear from other countries that you have something like this, even a little bit here. It's nothing here. So we don't have this at all. Yeah. We have some things in our system which are not going so well, like public traffic or education system is like difficult. Don't want to talk about this now. Yeah, but this is a very good thing. And the second thing, which is a result of this this mentality that seems grumpy to foreigners, is that privacy is very important to Germans. Yeah. So privacy in their own space, their own problems is a very, very important thing. It's because of the history too. Yeah. But this is something for me is also very important. Yeah. To know how much distance you can keep to a person and what is appropriate to talk about or to show them. Yeah. And if you get open to a person, yeah, like to invite him to your place or talk about family stuff, you can be very sure that he is very, very up to let you in your life. Makes a sense, yeah. So if people are going to start open up, this is true, yeah. This is like a real emotion. So this is maybe what I can say, but this is not every time the thing, yeah. So we're talking about general things there, but maybe this is the advantage of it.
Yeah, but that's 100% like that's it. And I think that's really cool, like in Germany, because in Brazil I think we call everyone as a friend. Like we just met someone and we just say like, okay, it's my friend, and we're already like talking about a lot of stuff about our lives and all. And in the end, maybe it is or maybe it's not your friend. And here I think that you have like the step by step, and when you achieve the point that the Germans in general are open to you, they want to bring you home, they want to talk about the personal life, and they say that they call you, you are my friend, you can feel like a really, really strong connection, and it's something that is totally changed like the relationship of the person, not just like all types of relationship, no, also friend relationships. And then it's like when you achieve this point with a German person, a German people, the German person, I don't know. It's I don't even know how to explain. It's like the relationship changed so much. You can just trust this person. You can just I don't know. It's something different that some in Brazil we don't have that much. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, but it's even very funny because of what you mentioned, Alex, about talking about family and just being more personal. In my first classes of like intercultural management, we had the professor basically showing like how a professor would present himself in Germany and how they would present themselves in Latin America. So it was like in Germany, yes, I'm teaching this, I'm doing this, I learned this in this school, in this university, and here is what I'm doing. And in Latin America would be, yeah, this is my children, this is my family, this is where I go on my vacations, and like in general. So this is just like this cultural thing, I guess, also that's different. Like I think a German professor would never start like, yeah, this is my family, because there is no context.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I can relate this, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like talking about these topics. But I think maybe we can also go back to like tips of how to learn German in a way of maybe for beginners or people who are trying to learn German at home. Because when I started also learning German, it was alone by myself, and I didn't had any classes. I was just interested in knowing that I'm gonna start a course. So I wanted to feel a little bit prepared for it. So maybe if you have some tips for people who are doing the same, it'd be nice.
Yeah. So as I already mentioned, do a list or do a lot of short lists. Always one Excel document, for example, with 10 columns, and then open a new one, learn these words. Yeah, sure. I talked about this. But if you learn at home and you have no teacher at all, yeah, let's say it's like this, then it's important not to learn random words. But I think this also counts for every language you're learning. Yeah. So reading, for example. Yeah. And with reading, I don't mean just read books or something. Yeah. Reading is also if you watch a movie in German. Yeah. So if you watch a movie in German, you should turn on the subtitles in German. This is very important. Yeah. So if you watch a movie with German language and German subtitles, if you are already at A2 or B1 level, yeah, otherwise it's difficult. And then pause the video, make notes if you don't get a word, look it up. Yeah, like active watching a movie, with reading the subtitles.
Mhm.
If you think you could watch a movie in English or in Portuguese, or watch a German movie with Portuguese and English subtitles, it makes no sense at all. I'm very sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
So sometimes people think, okay, today I'm tired, I'm lazy, I will turn on the subtitles in my mother language. It has no effect. Yeah. No, you don't learn anything because your brain is lazy. Yeah. Some people I think can relate this from watching Japanese anime. Yeah. If they
Oh, okay.
watch this Japanese anime with subtitles in English or different language, you don't learn anything. Yeah. Your brain is like fading out the language and focusing on the text. And this is the same thing, even if you already know some stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
So don't watch the movie in your mother language or in English and relax, or you're focusing on learn German. Yeah. One of both. This is an advice I can give because people are wasting their free time. Yeah, and then you make notes. If you see a new word, you learned in the context, people are pronouncing it, you know how to pronounce it right, and then you can put it in your list and try to repeat it and learn it. Yeah, and so what could you watch, for example? So I don't really recommend German movies. Yeah, I don't like it. It's kind of really bad. But what is very nice is that the German speakers, who makes this the voices for the movies. Yeah. What's the English word? I think Synchronsprecher it's in German. What's the English word for it? Synchronization.
Translator?
Now these people are really talking this. So for example,
Like the blah, I think. Like I don't know how to say this in English, but
I know what you mean, but I also forgot in English.
doesn't matter, to synchronize the voice, the translate a movie to German, for example. It's like movies like Toy Story or Finding Nemo, are very, very good in German voice, because our voice actors are amazing here.
Dubbed? Would it be dubbed?
Dubbed,
yeah, dubbed. Okay.
Yeah. And this is something you could do. Yeah, you can watch, for example, a Pixar movie, with German subtitles in German. Yeah, this is not too difficult. The plot is not difficult at all. Yeah, but you can focus on the words that you want to learn. Yeah, this could be an advice.
I remember me and Jessica when we were living together. We could speak already German. We were already like B2, C1, and we watched Dark together.
Yeah.
Dark, I think, is also good to learn German, but the language that they use in Dark is like really, really hard. So for us watching Dark, we were like always like need to focus 100% to understand because the series is already complex. And in German, with the language, is like and then after one episode, we were already like, okay, now we need a break. So like if you B2, maybe C1 in German to practice more. Dark is also really good, maybe.
Yeah, it is good, but they speak like this very common language. We speak like to people we know, which is for language learners sometimes kind of strange. But we in our school, we are focusing on teaching also like the spoken language. Yeah, so this makes more sense starting from late A2 or beginning from B1 to focus even on this more lazy street German, which could sometimes be very hard, but it's useful to practice it because otherwise it's sometimes hard to understand. Yeah, but but to learn this with movies is a good idea, I think.
But can go.
No, I just wanted to ask because I think in Brazil, the Portuguese that we speak in university, at school, or in the course that we learn in the Portuguese course, and the Portuguese that we speak in the street is totally different. Like 100%. We use a lot of slangs. We talk like, I don't know, also the difference between like the regions in Brazil. Brazil is also huge. For you also think that the German that we learn at the courses or even talk at the universities or at schools is really different from the German that we talk like in the streets with people, with friends?
Yeah, it is different from the people, and it really depends on the people I talk to. Yeah. I think that the German that's in the German book is different from the German I speak with my grandmother, and the German I speak to with my grandmother is different from the German I speak to my brother. Yeah, but I think this is something you can relate in your own language too. Yeah, and I think it's nothing more special in German than maybe in English, for example. Yeah. So in German is this special case that you have so many synonyms for things. Yeah. And even if you get to the higher level, you realize this, that you have for one word, maybe 6 different. And sometimes you can play with this. It's funny to use synonyms in special situations and stuff. So sometimes it's hard to catch the humor of Germans. Yeah. So this is also some kinds of stereotype that Germans are not funny. Yeah. It's because our humor is focusing on the languages, which is so hard to translate. Yeah. So this is something maybe you already realized. Yeah. But yeah, this is the thing. But I think it's in every language is this thing. And this don't understand conversations of people who are privately speaking and don't want to be listened is something you could worry about at B2 or C1, I think.
Yeah, that's totally true. I think like even for myself, for example, knowing German and studied in German university, I still had always problems with understanding like friends or German friends who were like talking about some jokes or having some internal jokes can be also difficult to understand in general, but like just normal jokes that are usually referred to something maybe that happened in the past or some things that you learn when you were a kid or something, I don't know, that it's just, I don't know, maybe very German that we don't know culturally. So that's sometimes like very like complicated to understand. And for me was also always like very a hard time with this because when I'm speaking, especially like in Portuguese, I really like to do jokes all the time. So I always felt this was part of my personality until I started speaking German and I couldn't do any joke. And I was like, okay, that's not me. Like it's like it felt like a different person for myself in the beginning. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I really often hear the sentence, Alex, in my mother language, I'm intelligent. Yeah, because sometimes it feels people feel stupid if they're always talking in a language they have to learn, yeah, and cannot pronounce what you want to say. But I think this is completely normal. And what you also think you have to keep in mind, Germans, which are like 10 years older than my age and below, can speak very good English here. Yeah, and if you can listen to this podcast, I think you can understand good English too, and you survive with this here. Yeah, you also survive in social situations with your English. Yeah, you can make friends with English here too. Yeah, I don't want to say that it's not important to learn German in Germany. It is really important here. Yeah, so but you won't get lonely if you don't speak German, like if you arrive here. Yeah. And you have your friends in language school. Don't forget this. Yeah. I think you already also have some contact to them, right? The people you get to know there. So this makes a very strong bond in my experience with the people who learn together with.
Yeah, that's true. Like actually me and Mateus we met not exactly in the language course that we were doing, but we got to know each other.
Met each other, like we saw each other for the first time in the language course.
Yeah, exactly. We talked to each other and then Mateus came back to Brazil and didn't saw him again. But yeah. But that's true. Like a lot of friends that were like my first friends in Germany were the people who I met in the German course, basically. And it's also like what you said regarding English. I came here first to Germany just knowing English, and I really could communicate normally. Like I could go to a restaurant, to a bakery, to a party, or anywhere I wanted, and I could speak in English. But of course, it's like not what you want for your whole life, probably. But like in the beginning, that's really true. Like people used to, like even if they don't speak very good English, they're gonna try communicate. But I have the feeling that most of Germans, they say they don't speak English, even though they speak very good English. And I'm just like, okay, you're saying you don't speak good English, and I'm just speaking like you. So what's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it's what I said. You survive with English, yeah, but you don't want to have your everyday life like surviving. Yeah, so it's,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. You want to chill. Okay. I think we're coming to a good timing right now. I don't know, Matthias, do you have some other question that you'd like to ask right now?
I don't have a question, but I want you, like, I was skipping this to the end of the podcast for you maybe to have like one or two, I don't know how to say this in English, but in German I think it's Zungenbrechen oder so.
Ein Zungenbrecher.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
like, I don't know, the people like two, I don't know, one or two Zungenbrecher. How does
Yeah.
it actually? I don't know.
Uh,
No. Tongue break? No.
tongue twister.
Tongue twister, yeah. Silver tongue, that's true.
Yeah. So I think the most common one in German is Fischers, Fritz, fischt, frische Fische.
Oh my god, until today I couldn't learn this. Like, fishes, fisher, fisher, no.
Okay, I will do it one more time.
Totally
Okay?
wrong.
Fischers, Fritz, fischt, frische Fische.
Fishes, Fritz,
Fish.
fischt, frische Fische.
Wow, amazing. Good job.
And there's also the one with Hababa, I think, also. No? Hababa, Barbara. I don't know.
This is from this video, but I don't think
I
a
thought
tongue
about it, but I
twister.
don't really remember. I don't really
Yeah.
know it, I think.
It's so long. I think it's almost impossible to remember everything.
When I first heard those tongue twisters, yeah, in German, I was like, "What the fuck? What am I doing?" Yeah, but that's cool. So I think it was really interesting everything that we talked about. Like we learned like so many things, and also for you guys that are here, like also hearing or watching our podcast, if you have any other questions about how like tips and tricks how to learn German, or I don't know about German culture, just comment here below, ask her questions. You can also ask Alex questions. We can answer you guys. And I think this is it for today. I wanted to thank you also, Alex, for being here with us. It was really, really interesting.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And I see you then, guys, in the next podcast.
Yeah. See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.